Now for this, I am going to start off with like literally the basics, like anyone has access to do these things. And then I'm going to move into what access you have as a student leader and an officer designated in your student org portal. So if you're like, I already know how to do this, Michaela, why are you telling me that? I promise there are people on the call that do not, and that's okay. There's people that work in our office that don't know how to do some of this stuff. So it's okay. We'll get through it all together. So first, to start off, when you log in, this is kind of what you see on the homepage. So you'll see any updates that we have. So currently right now, it says student organization support into fall 2021, talking about navigating our new normal and letting you know that I'm the contact person to help you with anything student org related if you have questions. Then we have our lovely re-registration notification, letting you all know that you need to register your organizations by August 31st, which is Tuesday. I misspoke earlier. It's Tuesday. So make sure that you get that done by Tuesday at 5 for any of you that are on this call and haven't re-registered your organization on MyEngage. And then below that, you'll see your memberships. You probably don't have 12. That's just because I manage all of the, or advise all the fraternities and sororities on campus. So I have access to their portals as well. But yeah, so you'll just see kind of all of the things that you're a member of. And then when you go to the events tab at the top, can you all see my mouse at all? Mindy or Jamin will have to answer that question. I just realized.
I can see your mouse.
Okay, cool. So when you go on the events tab at the top, you will see all of the events that are coming up on campus. So over here on the left-hand side, if I have a class, my first class on campus is on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I want to see what's going on campus because my class is only from 9 to 9:50. And I want to make sure that I have a full campus experience. So I'm going to stay on campus for the rest of the day. I can click on Tuesday. I could go click tomorrow and it will show me every event that's happening on Wednesday. Or say like on Thursday, someone wanted to see, okay, this is the first full weekend of college, what's going on, trying to see what's up on campus. They would click this weekend. Then they would have seen that UPB had this amazing Tropical Paradise welcome party last night, which if any of you were there, I'm sure you had a lot of fun. If they wanted to see only events online for students that only have online classes, they're like, I'm never on campus. This isn't helpful to me. It is helpful to you because you can click online in any event that's occurring on an online location, which is an option when you create an event. We'll get to that later. It will show up when you click online. There's also these themes. So in there, it gives you options to pick an event that goes to a certain theme on campus. And so when you're creating your events, you'll also have an option to assign those themes. You also can assign categories. So that's where if you're having a commuter cash event that's open to anyone and you're planning on reporting your attendance for commuter cash, that's where you would select category commuter cash. Or if you really love the commuter cash auction every fall and the end of every semester, not every fall, and you want to make sure you go to all the commuter cash events, then you would choose commuter cash in the categories to make sure you can go there. Also, there's a perks option. So say that I'm like, man, I'm on campus and I'm kind of hungry. Is there any event going on that has free food? Select perks, click free food, and it will show you any event on campus that has said they're going to have free food. So if I click free food on here, it would say that if it was yesterday, it would say that the Tropical Paradise welcome party that UPB is hosting has free food. So I'm there. I'm going to go get my free food. Yeah, so that's kind of just like a little overview of what the events tab on MyEngage looks like. So then if you click into an event, you will see the details. So it will tell you the event is from 7 p.m. on Friday, August 27th to 9 p.m. on Friday, August 27th. Where is it at? It's at Oak Hall, at the pool behind Oak Hall. And then you can also, when you create your event, assign an address. So like UPB went in and put the exact address. So if I went on MyEngage on my phone and I clicked view map, my Google Maps or my Apple Maps would take me straight there. I would be able to just drive there using my map. I wouldn't have to figure out a campus map or think about where is Oak Hall. I have really no idea. So that's a very helpful tool to use as well when you're setting up your event because it will help students find you. Then obviously you have a description, so you could put any of this information here. You can see our fun little reminder about COVID that all of our events have. And then down here, you'll see the perks, the free food, the free stuff. And then another option that UPB has been using for the past year and a half really well is this RSVP option. So you'll see when we go to how to create an event that you can create RSVP questions. So if I was to click on continue to RSVP from UPB's event, it might ask me my email and what my t-shirt size is or something like that, so that you can make sure that you're prepared for, or do you need any accommodations for this event, stuff like that, so that whoever's hosting the event knows ahead of time that I need to make sure that they have the closed captions turned on Zoom so that I can read what's being said. I see there's a Q&A, but I'm sure someone's answering it. Oh, that's probably the question about emails. Never mind. So next up, next to the events tab is the organizations tab. On the organizations tab, you can see all of our active student organizations. So you could either search here, or it usually is in an alphabetical list, as you can kind of see here. There's categories. So for this picture, I chose professional organizations, and then it shows me a list that's much longer than this of all the organizations that have tagged professional as a category that they're a part of. And then that's kind of really like the only options you have on this screen is either pick a category or just scroll through all the names. Once you click on an organization, it will show you this information. So we'll pull up the name. So this is Associated Black Collegians profile. I see Malik across the office clapping because I just shouted out Associated Black Collegians. And then it has a description of what their organization is. It has contact information, so kind of the general contact information for the organization itself. So that student org email, they have one. So abc@umsl.edu. That's how you would email them if you just email their general one. You can also link your social media. So if I want to check out their social media, I can go here. If they have pictures in their gallery, which I'll show you how to do that, or I'll show you where you do that in your portal later, because I know a lot of people haven't used this function. It kind of changes what these pictures are. So they have like an album on MyEngage of a bunch of different photos, and depending on what day or what time you click on it, different pictures show up here. So it's a good way to kind of show off. Instead of just saying like, oh yeah, every year we host a welcome party, it shows like every year we host a welcome party and there's people having a lot of fun and people are getting their face painted and people are eating at food trucks and people are watching a drive-in movie, all that kind of stuff. You can show through those pictures and have your portal be very much engaging for students that are looking at it. It asks just some basic information. Does your organization charge dues or membership fees? How often do you meet? If there's forms that you've uploaded in your organization portal, people will be able to see those here. So they have a few. It also shows you upcoming events. So they're co-sponsoring our Stomp the Quad on Tuesday. And then if you scroll down, it shows you this. So this is their officers that are listed. And the cool thing about this, which I don't know if a lot of you know this, but for instance, if I was on their MyEngage page and I clicked where it says Leah Spears, president, if I clicked there, it would open up the tile to be bigger and it would show me her email. And if I clicked on her email, it automatically opens my email and lets me send an email to her. So if I'm like, man, I emailed the abc@umsl.edu email, haven't heard anything back, it's been about a week, I'm just looking for more information, maybe I'm going to email Leah and Chrissy to make sure that someone's checking that email, because if they're not, then no one even knows that I was reaching out for information. So I'm going to email Leah, CC Chrissy on it, and just ask the question that I have about ABC or figure out how I can join. So that's kind of how that's working. If you're like, as an org, you're trying to plan an event with another organization and your advisor is very involved and they're like, oh, like what's their advisor? And maybe I can reach out to them and we can get that contact started to plan this event. Okay, perfect. Right here, I see that Dorian Hall and Jackie Flanagan are listed as co-advisors. So I could tell my advisor, hey, I think Dorian's one of the advisors for them. Do you know him? Could you reach out to him? And maybe that would help with the connection as well. So that's kind of what an organization looks like on MyEngage if you're viewing it as just a person that's logged in, not as a officer. So MyEngage as an officer. Was there questions about just basic MyEngage at all? I don't think so. So These are just the little logos for apps. We can talk about apps later, but the MyEngage website. So as an officer, first things first, you may have gotten an email from the lovely SABC email, who's my amazing program manager, Kenny, saying you need to approve the terms and conditions to move forward. You need to approve the terms and conditions. And you're like, what the heck is the terms and conditions? I'm going to show you. So at the top of MyEngage, where my cursor is, you will see your little initial or picture if you've uploaded one in a circle, and this little like menu button that you would normally click. So you click on your picture, it pops up your name, your event pass, and then there's this little thing that says memberships. Go to memberships. And then when you get to the memberships page, it will show you every single thing you're a part of. So how when I opened mine up, it had 12 different memberships. All 12 of those are on this list if I would have scrolled through and screenshotted them for you. But so I have approved all the terms and conditions, so I can't give you like a great example, but so this says student involvement, tells me kind of some more information. And then right here where it says like right where it says categories and approved service hours, if I'm an officer and I have not approved my terms and conditions, there'll be a red bar across the screen that says approved terms and conditions. And then when you click on the button, very similar to how MyEngage works when you go to re-register your organization, you click on the button and it asks you like 2 or 3 questions, and then you're good to go. So you've probably, like, if you've been getting these emails and you're like, I don't have time to do that, I don't know how to do it, I'm stressed, this is how you do it. You click on your icon, you click on memberships, and then you go to this list of your memberships, scroll through them, you'll see a red bar. There's literally nothing else that's red except for the terms and conditions button. So if you don't see any red, you're probably good to go. If you see red on any of your organizations, you need to do that. And essentially what those terms and conditions are is that you're agreeing to assume the role of your position, as well as agreeing for the Office of Student Involvement to do grade checks, just because we check the grades of all of our student leaders, just to make sure that you all are doing okay and make sure that we're performing well as student organizations on campus. So this is a very, very important. If you go to make an SABC request after next week and this is not done, you will get an email that says you need to do it before you can request SABC funding. So that's something that you definitely need to do if you are looking to like move forward this semester. And it's technically a part of the registration process, but it's not very smooth. Like it doesn't just take you to the page to do the terms and conditions. And if you go into your roster, which I'll show you in a minute, it tells you who has done the terms and conditions in your organization. So, and it gives you the option to send an email to them to say like, you need to do the terms and conditions. That feature doesn't always work great. So that's kind of why I wanted to walk through the go to your icon, click memberships, scroll through your memberships, because that is like the fail-safe way to make sure that terms and conditions have been agreed to by everyone. And then
Michaela, really quick, someone has a question about how would you check your organization's renewal status?
Yeah, actually, I can talk about that on the next slide. So
Perfect.
when you, let me actually, on this screen, so next to the icon that you click on to go to your memberships, that's your name, this little square menu thing, when you click on that, it pops open and it says explore, manage. None of you have admin, that's just me, but it says explore or manage. When you click manage, it will take you to something that has this again, that has all of your memberships. And you can see, okay, I have management access in these portals. So you probably will have 1, 2, maybe if you're an officer in multiple organizations. So then when I click into the portal, which I'll show you that on the next slide, there would be, if you haven't re-registered, there'll be a blue bar all the way across the screen with a button on the right-hand side that says re-register organization. And that is a button you need to click. It's really a quick process. It's not going to take you more than like 10 minutes to do that. But it's the most vital thing you have to do to continue as an organization for the fall. And so to manage your any organization that you're an officer on portal, you're going to need to click this manage button, and then you're going to pick an organization. So for this one, I picked fraternity and sorority life. So it opens a fraternity and sorority life, and you're like, what the heck? It's a blank space. I have no idea what's going on. There's nothing here. Right. If you haven't re-registered, this is where the blue button will be, right at the top, right underneath the white part. Will be a blue button that says re-register this organization. But if you have re-registered and you newly came into your officer position and had no one told you how to work MyEngage, you've probably gone to this page and been like, there's nothing to do here. Is MyEngage broken? What is happening? There's literally nothing I can click on. What is going on? So what you have to do is you have to go to this lovely little menu button at the top. Next to your name, there's a little menu button hidden in the corner. I know. Sometimes I forget that it's there. It took me a while to figure out. You always have to just find the menu button in the top left corner. So then Crazy Taylor Swift will no longer be looking at us, and we will have it on lock. We know it's due. So once we click on the menu button, this pops up, this lovely little menu. And so this is literally your access tool to everything you probably have a question about. So I have designated what is very important for you all to look at and what is helpful but not necessary. So for helpful but not necessary, you'll see gallery. That's where you would upload pictures so that you can have pictures on your portal for students to see, much like ABC has. You can do news. That feature, not a lot of people use. Some campuses use it very well. So it's something that you can use and it can be really good for you. But it's definitely not a necessary step, nor do I think any of there's like 1 or 2 orgs on our campus that use it. So if you want to be one of 3 or 4, then definitely you can use that, but it's not important. And then forms. If you have forms that you need people to fill out for you, MyEngage is a very easy place to do it. As long as the people that have to fill out the form are students or staff, this can be very helpful for you. But like I said, not necessary for you to run your organization on campus. What is necessary is for you to have your roster updated. So when you click on roster, it brings you to a screen that looks like this. So this is for the fraternity and sorority life page, has the primary contact as me, Michaela Wells. And then down here, it says manage roster. If you get to this page, and the primary contact of the organization is not the president, you need to click on this little pencil, and then you'll have to search the name of the president and add them as the primary contact. So that's how you change primary contact. Under here, you will see it has the first and last name of everyone in your organization and what position they're assigned to. So if I go to the next page where I added Louis Triton into our portal, if you have officers that need to be assigned to their position, what you will do is you'll click this little edit button, and then it pops up manage positions. So you will, if it's your faculty staff advisor, so Louis is our advisor, we need to designate him as that. Click advisor. We have a lot of like assigned positions that, because you can create your own positions in MyEngage. That's a little bit in the weeds. If you all want to talk about that at Wise Up Wednesday, we can. But so you'll have officer, and that could be aside from president and treasurer. If you don't want to go in and make these like council president, student programs manager, if you just want to be able to like, this is the officer, their title is not important as far as MyEngage is concerned, you can just click officer. For the president, obviously there's president. And if I would have scrolled down, which I should have, there's a treasurer option as well. So you would designate your president and treasurer are necessary. You have to have those designated in MyEngage. But you can also assign other officers. And by assigning the other officers that are on your officer boards, that gives them this management. You can give them this management access by assigning them as an officer. So if your secretary, for instance, needs to have access to your portal because you upload all of your minutes from your meetings into the documents on MyEngage, then you would just assign your secretary as your officer, and then assign them access as an officer, and it will give them the ability to do that. Again, like I said, if you are confused about positions outside of president and treasurer, we can talk about that at Wise Up Wednesday, or you can send me an email. But really, faculty, staff advisor, president, and treasurer are the important things to make sure that you know there. How do we keep regular members' information private for student organizations on MyEngage? So when someone goes into your portal, let me just check really quick so I can make sure I'm giving you the right information. So you're saying, how can we make it so people can't see our roster? I'm not quite sure that you can make it so that anyone is private in your portal. So it does show you your like who the members are of your organization. But on the like main page of the organization, which is usually where most people go, it only shows the officers that have been assigned. It doesn't just show members. So I would say, obviously have your officers assigned, and then to see the roster, you have to click view full roster. And I don't think a lot of people will take time to go do that, because really, if someone wants to know who's in your organization, they're going to care about the person that's going to allow them access into the organization, which would be the president or treasurer. Let me answer that. Okay. And then moving on to the about. So when we were back on that original page that I showed you the whole menu, there's this about section. That's going to show us every single thing that, or that's going to show us how to change all that information that's on that page that people see of your portal. So you'll see this manage organization function. That is how you would edit it. So then it asks you the title, asks you to put update the description. It gives you contact information, which obviously that's outdated, so I need to update it. And then it gives a little bit more information. It also shows pictures that we have in there. And so you can edit all of this information on the left-hand side when you click that manage organization button and go into the manage side of your about page. And then events. So on that menu button, when you press this little hamburger menu on the top left, the third option is events. You open your events page. It will have a long, if your org has had a lot of events in the past on MyEngage, we'll have a long list of events right here. If not, that's okay. What you do to start creating events, at the top right-hand corner, there's this blue button that says create event. You'll click on it, and then it pops open this. So it asks for the basic details. So the title, the theme, this is where you assign a theme for your event. You put the description of the event here. Additional organization co-hosting. So like for Stomp the Quad, for instance, fraternity and sorority life, we designated that Associated Black Collegians is co-hosting this event. So I typed in right here, Associated Black Collegians, picked them from the list of our orgs, and it slaps their little logo right on there. And then when you go to fraternity and sororities life page, it shows upcoming events, Stomp the Quad. If you go to Associated Black Collegians page, like we saw, it says Stomp the Quad. So then if you're viewing any of the co-hosting organizations, the event will pop up on their page. So it's a good way, if you are collaborating with other organizations, to kind of get the word out about your event, because people from a bunch of different areas on campus who look at different portals will be able to see it without going to your organization's portal necessarily. So then it will ask the time and place. So this is where you put the date and the time and when it ends. And then right here, it says online location. So if you're having a Zoom event, you would click online location, and then in the comments, you would put Zoom. You would either put the Zoom link, or you could put Zoom link TBD and have people reserve or RSVP to your event, and you'd be able to send the Zoom link out to only people that RSVP. Or if once you wait until like 2 days before and you add the Zoom link there, all of that is options that you have. If you have a real location on campus, you would click that blue location button to the left. I don't know if you can see it or if you can just see my controls. But that will allow you to type in that address. So like how on University Programming Board's event last night, it had the whatever Locklead Avenue address. That is when you put in the location, you could just put MSC 212 and that it lets you put that. But you can put like choose map location, and then I could put 1 University Boulevard, Millennium Student Center, room 212. And then after you do the location and the hours, for the time, it allows you to pick who can see your event. So you can show to the public, and that means when you open the homepage on MyEngage without logging in, you can see the event. So this is helpful, for instance, for like our trunk or treat event that our office does. We have it on there, and it's to the public so that anyone can look up UMSL trunk or treat, and it will hopefully lead them to the MyEngage portal that has, or event that has all of the information, but they won't have to log in because they're not a student necessarily. And so in that, you can choose the public, you can choose staff, and you could choose students and faculty and staff, or you can choose just organization members. So if I was to choose just organization members, that would show up to anyone that's considered a member in our portal. So for instance, if Associated Black Collegians was having, or let's go to SGA because Joe was just talking about this. So if they're having an SGA like exec meeting, but not a general assembly meeting, and he just wants it to be able to see people in the portal to be able to see it, and they didn't have just general people in the portal, he could put it on there for just organization members, and then only people in the SGA portal would be able to see that that event was occurring. So then only SGA people would show up to the meeting that they're having just for SGA and not for the general assembly. And then after that, you can select event categories. So that's where we talked about, you could put commuter cash. And then this is the perk. So that's where you can put free stuff, free food. There's one other option, but I don't remember what it is. And then you'll click this next button on the bottom. And then that will take you to the RSVP settings that we talked about. So up here on the left, you'll see RSVP settings. Who can RSVP? You can set that to anyone. You can set that to students. You can set that to organization members. You can set that to really anything you want. And then let's say for instance, for MLK Day last year, we only had a certain amount of people that could sign up for certain things because there was only so many projects that we bought supplies for, right? So I clicked limit number of available RSVP spots. So once 20 people registered to make cat toys for Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, only then no one else could RSVP for that event. They could see that the event was happening, but they couldn't RSVP for that event to give me their registration information. And you can allow, when someone RSVPs, you can allow them to represent their organization. So if I would have had you all register by RSVPing on MyEngage event for Seoul, I could have clicked this, and then you would have had to click, instead of when you on the registration put what organization you would be representing, you could have chose from the list of MyEngage organizations and just clicked them really quick. And then you can also add questions. So down here, it says text, single line. If I click add question, I could type first name. Then I could add a new one that says last name. I could add another one that says also email. And then I could add another one that says, do you need any accommodations? Which is very helpful when you have a Zoom event, because then you will know that you need to have your captions on, or make sure that your captions are on any videos you have, stuff like that. It's just a very simple way that when people click RSVP, they automatically have to tell you that information so that you're prepared that this person is coming to my event and this is what they're looking for, this is what they need from us, and this is what they're expecting. After that, it takes you to this thing that says post-event feedback. If you really want to use it, you can. Most people just skip over it. That would be if you want everyone that's checked into your event to fill out a little survey. So say after Welcome Bash, we wanted to know how everyone felt about the food truck. We could have put post-event feedback question, thoughts on the food truck, and then after I checked, after the event ended and you were checked into the event, it would send you an email and ask you to fill out the feedback for us. Most people don't do that. Most people just click next at the bottom of that page and skip over it, which is totally fine. Then it takes you to the event cover photo. So this is where you would upload a photo. And I deleted one of my event photos that I couldn't re-upload just to take the screenshot for you all. But so it will have you click to select an image so you can upload it from your computer. It tells you kind of the sizes and stuff. So if you are on Canva or something, making a little thing for your general meetings, you could have the sizes specifically on Canva and put it up there. When you make art requests through the media production department, our graphic artists also make an image that fits in this perfectly because they know the specs for it as well. So they do that for you. And then it will pop up this little bubble and you can just go ahead and click complete submission. So I got this blue button on the left, just skip the custom fields and complete the submission. And then you're good to go. Your event will go to our office to be approved on MyEngage, and then I will approve it and it will show up in MyEngage calendar. All right. Looks like we didn't have any questions about events. So hopefully we're good. Like I said, if we have more nitty-gritty questions about say RSVP, questions you want to add, or event feedback, stuff like that, we can walk through that at the Wise Up Wednesday session, because that will be a really good place to get that information. Okay, next, finance. So all of you probably have been wondering, if you haven't already figured it out, how the heck do I make an SABC request? You talk about this money we have access to, you talk about SABC, you talk about this, you talk about that, but I don't even know how to get to it. So back on that page where it said, where we went to the menu and you had options, at the very bottom, it says finance. This is the money maker because it has the money next to it. Just remember, this is your money maker. You got to go there. And then let me go back to my slide. Okay. So at the top, you see this create request button. That is your best friend. You will click create request, and then it will give you the option to make a budget request or a purchase request. Before you can make a purchase request, you have to request a budget, because the budget is how you get money approved. You get approved to spend money from SABC is by submitting a budget. So they're in order for you. So if you haven't submitted anything for this event that you're going to have, top one is your answer, budget request. If you already submitted a budget request and have been approved for funding, that's when you would create a purchase request. Obviously, there's a session about SABC this afternoon in both time slots. So if you have questions about this, you definitely should attend those during one of the sessions. My student programs manager, Kenny, is the know all about SABC and how these requests work, and he will definitely help you. Another thing I wanted to point out, on the left-hand side, say that you are looking to purchase something for an event and your treasurer said, or your president said that they submitted the budget request for you because you were on vacation when we needed it submitted. So you think there's a budget request that's been approved by SABC, but you're not quite sure, but you need to make a purchase request because you need these supplies for your event that's coming up. You can click over here on the left-hand side and click budget, and then it will show you everything that you've been allotted over here for budget. So then it will say fraternity and sorority life picnic, $50 for snacks. So then I can go over and create a purchase request, and I can choose from the list of line items, which Kenny will go over in his session. You can populate a line item from your budget, and then I would choose snacks in that. And then it would automatically let me and Blake, our support specialist that helps me with this kind of stuff in the office, it would let me know when your purchase request comes through that, okay, they're looking for snacks because they're looking for us to order snacks because they're approved to order snacks from SABC 2 weeks ago, and the money has been allotted to them. So that was a very brief overview of finances. I'm sure you have questions. Kenny will answer all of them in the SABC and RSO funding session. Was there any questions? I saw Tori ask if we were going to go over it in the session. So the answer was yes. I think there was a typo in this question, but it says, what are their budget cuts university-wide due to COVID this semester? The university has been experiencing budget cuts since COVID started. Not quite sure about all of the details on those, but there definitely is still SABC funding available for you all, and we would love for you to use it up, and that would be great. So there's definitely enough money to go around and for you all to get your programs paid for and your team development paid for and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to create a budget request. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no, and you've probably been told no a few times in your life, so it'll be okay. We can figure something out. Students that have already created budget requests that had something wrong with it know that I'm very open to answering questions and helping out in emails if necessary. So even if the answer is no, it's not a big and scary no. It's just this wasn't done right, or there's something that prohibiting you from it, or this doesn't apply to or doesn't go by the rules that we have for SABC, stuff like that. And when it's denied, it's not just going to say denied. They'll tell you, my program manager, when he emails out the approval or denial, he will tell you the reasoning behind what the answer was. So you won't just be left in the dark, like, what the heck, if you didn't, like, say you clicked something wrong on there. We're not just going to email you and be like, haha, sorry, you didn't get the money. Like, it's going to be like, hey, just so you know, in this budget request, next time you need to make sure you do this. So we're going to deny it this time, and you can resubmit it, but make sure you click this. And it's going to walk you through it very easily. So I know it probably sounds scary and a little intimidating, but I promise it will be okay. All righty, and then up next. Okay, so I know there was a lot of confusion about finding the SOL registration as well as the Involvement Expo registration. So this is kind of going to be the answer to all of those questions for those of you that weren't able to find it or anything like that. So remember how you could search in organizations once we're on the organizations tab in MyEngage. If you go to the organizations tab in MyEngage and type in the search box, student involvement, our office portal will pop up. So then you will see this on the screen. We have pictures, we have a description, we have additional information, and then we have forms. So you'll see right at the top was the 2021 Fall Expo registration form. There's also a campus posting request form. So if you have posters that you want to put up on campus, those have to be approved by our office. And so this form is what you would need to fill out and get approved before you come to our front desk and have them stamp it for approval. We have our new student organization interest form. So some of you already filled this out, and that's why you're here today, is because you're a new student organization, and we're so glad to have you and your organization on campus. And then we also have some advisor forms. If you don't see the form you're looking for right here, you can also click this button that says view all forms, and it will take you to the long list of forms that our office has, and you can search in there to find the form you're looking for. If you don't remember this way, there's also an easier way to find forms. At the top of MyEngage, there's another tab all the way to the right-hand side that says forms. When you click there, this isn't just student involvement forms. There's some other forms on there. So like this red and gold meal plan, that's from Campus Life, not from student involvement. But most of our student involvement forms that you'll be looking for will be public. So they will be on this forms list. And then again, you can search. So if you're confused and you're like, I don't see SOL on here because it's on the next page because it starts with an S. The registration had already closed when I screenshotted this. That's why it's not on here. You could search student org, you could search SOL, you could search training, and it would have popped up at the top. You'd have been able to find it. So say you were trying to register for Expo, you also could have typed in Expo. I should have put involvement there. That probably might be a problem because you all might have searched Involvement Expo and that didn't pop up because of that. But when you're looking for forms, make sure that you check this tab, and if all else fails, find Student Involvement's portal and look at our list of forms as well. Another thing, say you filled out the Expo registration form, but you haven't heard anything from me, so you're like, I wonder if we're ready to go, if we got approved, you can view your submission. So you can click up here on the Forms tab, you can click View Submissions. This is also an option. If you click on your initial up here, it says submissions in the list that pops up. Then you go there and it will show you submissions that are unfinished. So say I thought I applied to be a recruitment counselor, but I haven't heard anything back from you, and you're saying, Michaela's saying, I don't have my thing filled out, my application isn't in, what the heck? I could go to View Submissions, and then I could go to Unsubmitted or Non-Submitted, Not Submitted, whatever it says, Submissions, and it might say Recruitment Counselor Application Fall 2021. And I'm like, oh, I just forgot to hit Submit. Or I hit Submit and then close my laptop and it didn't load. So Michaela never got my application because I didn't click submit. So that's an easy way to see that. If you think that you filled something out and someone's saying, I don't have it from you, check your submissions that haven't been submitted fully. And also in your submissions, you can see what you've turned in. So like if you filled out the Fall Expo registration form and you go to your view submissions right now, it probably says approved next to it. So you know, okay, we're good to go for our table next Wednesday. We're going to be there and we're ready to go. That's how you would find out that information. If your thing has been approved or denied. While we're talking about Expo, I will let you know if you got an email, if you tried to apply for or put in your registration for Involvement Expo and it got denied, that was probably because you accidentally applied for the Campus Resource Fair, which is for campus departments and offices, which is on Tuesday. Ours is on Wednesday. So I have to go through the Expo registrations. It was due last night. So at 11:45. So on Monday, I'm going to go through those and make sure that we have everyone that has registered. But if you go into your submissions and it wasn't fully submitted, go ahead and send me a screenshot of that and the information, and I will get it. I will get it into our registration system because we do have a few open spots. So make sure today after training you go in, or during the lunch, which will be in 20 minutes, hold tight, that you view your submissions and let me know if there's a problem with your Expo registration and we'll get it figured out for you. Was there any other questions about MyEngage while we're on MyEngage? my wonderful moderators?
Nope, not that I see.
Perfect. All right. So now, normally this is a afternoon session talking about how to market your student org and the events that you all have.